So as you all know, the Ottoman Turks began as a nomadic people. As you can see here, Osman Bey has set 3 dynasties, and the follower of Osman are called Ottomans. Their destiny is to bring Islam to the world. Okay, so the early Ottomans expand their empire through the west. They don't go to east or south because they had been controlled by their brothers, the Turkmen emirs, and the end of the Byzantine. So the Ottomans successfully made up Bursa as their capital. Next, in the 15th century, Ottoman Empire spread to Anatolia, which is Turkey nowadays. The Ottomans has set their eyes to Constantinople, it is very strategic with its place. Every Ottoman since Osman had been dreaming of setting up their empire in Constantinople. Here, Mehmed the Conqueror, as we know, his dreams of conquering cannot be denied. The next Sultan is Suleiman. He was born in the 10th century and was the 10th Sultan descendant after Osman. Every Sultan was expected to begin his reign by expanding his empire. Ottomans has controlled Kurdistan, Egypt, and the holiest city of Islam, which is Medina and Mecca. So Suleiman's first task was to expand the empire to Belgrade, but he changed his mind to go to the islands of Rhodes. By using gunfire, he had a new idea, which is by dug out 50 tunnels from their base to mine their foundation. Actually, Suleiman had a son, Mustafa, with his first wife, but in his mid-30s, he fell in love with a Slavic slave girl named Harem. One of the rivals of Suleiman's was the Safavid Empire. Safavid's art and architecture was in a final scale. Now, Suleiman had Hungary, Kairouan, and Egypt in his hands. Despite being a great ruler, Suleiman, the Magnificent, also supports the art. In his reign, it is called the Golden Age of Art. The example of art in his reign is the Topkapi Palace. There are many art have been made by the craftsmanship people, which is by the Europe, Middle East, and Asia. So, in the past, it has an imperial painting school, which is called the Nakashain, and has been focusing on 3 different types of paintings. Okay, so the first style of painting is the traditional style. It has a flowery element. The next style is Sas style. Sas style is more to a natural garden and a specific flower, which is tulip and honeysuckle. And then the third style is more fancy because it has imaginary scene influenced by the Chinese, and such as have dragons and other creatures. So this is the examples of the traditional style, Sas style, and the Chinese influenced paintings. So Ottoman Empire also known by their pottery. So they firstly used blue and green color, but then they developed to use a bright red color. River from the Ottoman Empire produced beautiful woven carpets and rugs. It may include asymmetrical geometric patterns and also have flower, trees, or animals animated.
Okay, hi. Okay, now we are moving on to the Ottomans architecture. We will show you guys a few famous buildings, historical buildings of this amazing empire. Okay, so first and foremost is Topkapi Palace. The meaning of Topkapi Palace is a canon palace, which means the large museum in the east of Fatih districts in Istanbul, Turkey. The architectural style of these historical buildings is Baroque. This building was designed by Mehmed II and it was completed on 1465. Okay, so the Topkapi Palace, it is the central place that located in all the Ottoman sultans' time until the reign of Abdulmajid I. It is the largest and oldest palace in the world to survive to our day. After the conquest of the city in 1453, the young Sultan Mehmed moved the capital of the empire to Istanbul. Okay, so this palace is surrounded by 5 kilometers of walls and occupied of an area of 700,000 square meters at the tip of historical peninsula. It consists of 4 courtyards and each serving a different purpose. Therefore, it was the heart, the brain, the very center of the Ottoman Empire. Later, the harem, the private quarters of the Sultan, was moved here too. In 1924, it was turned into a museum at Atatürk's request. Next, we will see the Topkapi Palace through its layout plan. Topkapi Palace consists of 4 courtyards and other smaller buildings, which is the first courtyard, second courtyard, third courtyard, fourth courtyard, and the harem. Okay, so the second historical buildings of this Ottoman Empire is Ortaköy Mosque. So the Ortaköy Mosque is like the jewel of the Bosphorus due to its location and architecture. Located in the Ortaköy neighborhood, which is just next to the Bosphorus Bridge connecting the and Asia, this mosque provide great opportunity for those who love taking travel pictures. This mosque was built by Sultan Abdulmajid in 1854. Dedicated to its founder, it is also known as Buyuk Masjidi Mosque. The architects of these buildings were Garabet Balyan and Nikogos Balyan. This elected Baroque mosque is the work of Ottoman architect Nikogos Balyan. Nikogos was a scion of the famous Armenian family of imperial architects. It is a neo-Baroque style with an ornate exterior and large windows that allow light to flood into its planar interior. The main chamber is small and square-shaped. Its edges is 12.25 meters in length. The ceiling is a dome shape covered in pink mosaic. There are 2 tall minarets, each with a single balcony. It has recently undergone a major refurbishment. The third building, historical buildings of Ottoman Empire, is Rumeli Hisari Castle. It was built on 1452 by Mehmed II, literally meaning the straight-cut castle. Is a medieval fortress located in the Istanbul, Turkey, on a series hills of the European banks of Bosphorus. The complex was commissioned in the preparation for a planned Ottoman siege on the then Byzantine city of Constantinople. After the conquest of Constantinople in 1453, the castle lost its military importance and served as a customs checkpoint until the 17th century, and then as a prison until the 19th century. By the time of 1960, the Rumeli Castle functions as a museum, and this magnificent castle is open to the public as an open-air museum. So, this is the planned layout of this Rumeli Hisari Castle. The Rumeli Hisari Castle fortification has a small tower, 3 main towers, and 13 small watchtowers placed on the walls connecting the main towers.
So next is Dolmabahce Palace. This building was built in 1856 and located in Istanbul, Turkey. The architect who built this building was Garabet Berlian. The architecture style of Dolmabahce Palace is Baroque, Neoclassical and Rococo. The functional of Dolmabahce Palace is residence of Ottoman Sultan. So on this slide, we are going to know the history of Dolmabahce Palace. The place is built on land reclaimed from Bosphorus, so that's why it got its name of Dolmabahce. Dolmabahce Palace actually was home to Sid Sultan of Ottoman Empire and presidential house by founder of Turkish Republic Atatürk in 1924. Okay, on this slide, you are going to know the design and layout of Dolmabahce Palace. It has an area of 45,000 meters square and contains 285 rooms, 46 halls, 6 beds, and 68 toilets. The design contains eclectic elements from the Baroque, Rococo, and Neoclassical style, blended with traditional Ottoman architecture to create a new synthesis. On this slide, you are going to know the decor and equipment in Dolmabahce Palace. First is Ceremonial Hall, second is Ambassador Hall, third is the Sultan Hammam. So next is Kuşatsu Pavilion. This building was built in 1857 and located in Istanbul, Turkey. The architect who built this building was Garabet AMIRAH Berlian. The architecture style for this building is New Baroque. On this slide, you are going to know the interior decoration and arrangement of the pavilion. First, the sea-facing side of the pavilion. Second, the guest reception room. Third, Western-style furniture and works of art decorating the walls. Lastly, Baroque architecture was adopted in the decoration of the staircase. So next is Yildiz Palace. This building was built in 1818 and located in Istanbul, Turkey. The architect who built the building was Armando de Arauco. The architecture style of Yildiz Palace is New Baroque. So in this slide, you are going to know the history of Yildiz Palace. Yildiz Palace is imperial pavilions and villa in Istanbul. It was used as residence by Sultan. Yildiz Palace means Star Palace and was used by the Ottoman Empire Sultan Abdul Hamid I. So on this slide, you are going to know the layout of Yildiz Palace. First is cell kiosk. Cell kiosk known as Sultan Residence. Second is Mata kiosk. Third is Cadre kiosk. Cadre kiosk was built in 1861 by Sultan Abdul Aziz and known as prison. Lastly, Yildiz Porcelain Factory. Yildiz Porcelain Factory constructed to meet the demand of higher classes for European-style ceramic. So next is Istanbul University. This building was built in 1943 and located in Istanbul, Turkey. The architecture style of this building was Baroque. The motto of Istanbul University is Leadership in Higher Education in Century. There are few basics of Istanbul University. First is protecting and glorify Atatürk's principle. Second, respect for the environment and people.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, guys. And right now I'm gonna talking about Hagia Sophia and Sulaimani Mosque. We all know that Hagia Sophia right now is a museum and has many previous story. Before it became a museum, it used to be a church and mosque. This change occurred because the story that happened to it. Before that, let me tell you a little about the year and function of Hagia Sophia. So let's start. Hagia Sophia was built by Byzantine Christian as a church in 537. Then it was taken over by the Greek Orthodox and still a church after that. Hagia Sophia was taken over by Roman Catholic and still a church. Later, the Greek Orthodox took back Hagia Sophia while still a church. And after the Islam come by the Ottomans, Hagia Sophia became a mosque. And finally, the Istanbul government transformed it into a museum until today. At the interior of Hagia Sophia, which is a mosque and a church at the same time, and there is a very beautiful and wonderful architecture that was created by the ancients. Let's talk about the interior of Hagia Sophia. At this side, you can see the Hagia Sophia in a narthex. Here you can see the Hagia Sophia outer narthex, and at here you can see the painting that depicts Hagia Sophia as a mosque by Sultan Muhammad II. And at this side, you can see the lion and Jesus Christ over the Emperor Gate. At this side, you can see the marble decoration of Hagia Sophia for the floor pattern, and the Hagia Sophia Pompeian coronation stage. And here you can see the marble jar of Promegium. At this side, you can see the marble door of the upper gallery, and here you can see a huge, massive column of Hagia Sophia. Up here, you can see the mosaic ceiling for the ground floor. You can see the mosaic ceiling for the upper floor, and there are some Christian elements. This side is the Mother of Mary, and here you can see the library of Sultan Mahmud. Right now you can see the center of Hagia Sophia. You can see a huge dome, and there are some Islamic element, which is Allah and Muhammad sign, and they also have Surah Al-Fatihah at the wall. Okay guys, so right now let's move to Sulaimani Mosque. The Sulaimani Mosque is an Ottoman emperor mosque located at the third hill of Istanbul, Turkey. The mosque was built by the Ottoman Sultan Sulaiman, and the mosque was named after him. The construction of Sulaimani Mosque started at 1550 and nearly completed in 1557. Sultan Sulaiman used Mimar Sinan, the greatest engineer and architect to his time, for the work of this mosque. The architecture and craftsmanship of the mosque are very beautiful and attract many worshippers and visitors. During World War I, the courtyard was used as a weapon depot, and some of the ammunition ignited. The mosque suffered another fire. Now until 1956, it was fully restored again. For the Sulaimani Mosque exterior, the courtyard mainly used marble, granite, and porphyry. The northwest facade of the mosque is decorated by the rectangular zinc tiles window lunetels. The mosque is the first building used a colored tomato red clay under the glaze. At the four corners of the courtyard are the four minarets. And now, let's look at the Sulaimani Mosque interior.
As you guys know, the Ottoman Empire has many historical buildings, and as my part, I would like to present about the Sultan Ahmed Mosque. The Sultan Ahmed Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque, was located near the Istanbul, Turkey. So, we begin our history about the Sultan Ahmed Mosque. It remained a function a functioning mosque while also attracting large number of tourist visitors. It was constructed between 1609 and 1616 during the rule of Ahmed I. Okay, so next is about the architecture of the Sultan Ahmed Mosque. The Sultan Ahmed Mosque has 5 main domes, 6 minarets and 8 secondary domes. The design of the Sultan Ahmed Mosque is the combination of 2 centuries of both Ottoman mosque and the Byzantine church development. It incorporates many Byzantine elements of the neighboring Hagia Sophia with traditional Islamic architecture. The architecture sanitized the ideas of his master Sinan, aiming for overwhelming size, majesty and splendor. The mosque is preceded by 4 courts with a large fountain and special area of ablution. Okay, so next we move to the interior part of the Sultan Ahmed Mosque. We begin with its lower level, and at every pier, the interior design of the mosque is lined with more than 20,000 handmade Iznik style ceramic tiles in more than 50 different tulip designs. The tiles at lower level are traditional in design, while at gallery level fruit and cypress. The upper level of the interior are dominated by blue paint. And more than 20,000 stained glass windows with intricate design admit natural light, today assisted by chandelier. Okay, so the second historical building of the Ottoman Empire is the Beylerbey Palace. Beylerbey meaning Lord of Lords, and the building is located in the Beylerbey neighborhood of Üsküdar district in Istanbul, Turkey, at the ancient site of the Bosphorus. An Imperial Ottoman summer residence built in 1860s is now situated immediately north of the 1973 Bosphorus Bridge. Okay, for the next part, we talk about the Beylerbey interior and the outside. The interior and the outside of the palace is decorated with European and Eastern styles. The palace has 3 floors and contains 3 entrances, 6 halls and 26 rooms. There are 2 volumes, harem and slumslick. On the floors, Egyptian reed matting was used as a form of insulation. In the garden, there is a big pool, stables and Salsabili marble kiosk and a tunnel which is situated under the garden. After the declaration of the Republic, the Beylerbey Palace served as a museum. We can see at the picture was the hall of the slumslick and the staircase at Beylerbey Palace. The second one is the hall of the slumslick at Beylerbey Palace. The main staircase links the ground floor to the first floor at Beylerbey Palace. Okay, for the third historical building of the Ottoman Empire is the Maiden's Tower. The Maiden's Tower, also known as the Leader Tower, since the medieval Byzantine period, is a tower lying on the small islet located in the southern entrance of the Bosphorus Strait, 200 meters from the coast of Üsküdar in Istanbul, Turkey. Okay, so approximately 650 feet, which is equal to 200 meters from the coast of Üsküdar, the Maiden's Tower can be found on a small island at the southern entrance of the Bosphorus. Even though it's not exactly when the tower was built, the architectural style is synonymous with the era around 340 BCE. Okay, here's a few pictures of the interior of the Maiden's Tower. As you can see in the picture, after a lot of renovation now, the building was covered with a stone design and it was now a restaurant to the people.